Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Yeah, my name is Chris Faiella. I am the English VO director for Genshin Impact.
This is my first time on Erica's stream where I'm not trying to murder her.
Yeah, oh yeah! We've only ever streamed Among Us together.
Literally the worst version of me. Now it's all chill with Genshin.
Among Us is the best version of everyone, I think.
Dude, I'm annoyed because we played Among Us and I never became the evil one,
Right,
ever.
you never were evil.
I just kept getting killed over and over and over again.
Right now, I wish I was sitting at the top of a tree.
I almost killed Venti just now. Whoops.
It happens. So Venti, and get this, everybody. Venti's the first banner that dropped. Erica is just now getting her first copy.
Well, because, okay. Oh no! Venti's trapped in a bubble. Because I didn't want to play until I could say I was in the game. Because I was worried that people in the chat would be like, are you in this? This sounds like you. And then I'd have to like awkwardly ignore everybody.
So if anybody has questions for Erica, highlight them so I can see them easier. And Christian will also be keeping an eye on chat too to help us out. So.
Hello. Hey, how many rolls did it take to get Venti, Erica?
Yeah, I want to know. How many?
A lot. Almost 100, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I am so sorry. But
Yeah.
yay, Venti.
Yay, myself! I'm saving for child now, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Erica and I have worked on many games together over the years.
Yes, so
and
many games.
She is one of my favorite
Here we
people
go.
to work with ever.
Aw, thank you. You're one of my
always.
favorite people to work with.
Oh, well, thank you very much. But that being said, I want to know, we don't really in the sessions get into any of the kind of, early Harlequer life and stuff. And so I want, where you came from, how you got here, all that kind of stuff. And so I'd love to just kind of ask some questions and dive a little deeper into just you as an actress and all that stuff.
Totally, that sounds fun.
When you were kind of growing up and stuff, how'd you get into all of this? I mean, is this something that you knew you wanted to do from the get-go? Or is this something that you were just kind of fell into later in life? Did you go to school for it? What happened?
Yeah, so I always really liked acting. Like, I always wanted to be in every school play. When I was 5, I played the Big Bad Wolf in The Three Little Pigs, which was the star,
When you were 5?
Yeah, when I was 5. And then when I was 6, we were doing Jack and the Beanstalk, and I was so angry that they wouldn't let me be Jack. Their excuse was that I was the Big Bad Wolf the year before, and they wanted to let other people have a chance. So they made me part of the Beanstalk, and I had one line, and I was really mad about it.
Part of the Beanstalk, yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, I was like, they were like narrators.
Wasted talent, dude. Wasted talent.
I know, but yeah, I did a lot of like speech and debate, and I did mock trial, but I never wanted to be the attorney. I only wanted to be the witness because that was like the acting stuff,
I feel like you could have been on Maury or like Jerry Springer because you could have been all right.
My favorite witness that I played was this Hollywood agent, and our strategy, we were on the defense side, and the strategy was to make me seem like I could have murdered the person without me coming out and be like, like I did it, so that they had reasonable doubt to say that our defendant maybe didn't do it. And so it was really fun because I got to be like super sly the whole time and being like, well, I don't know. What do you think happened? It was really fun. Yeah.
And so where did you grow up though?
I grew up about an hour away from LA, so I didn't really have to go very far to do acting. Once I was in college, I went to college for graphic design and computer science because I thought I wanted to like make video games or something. I just knew I wanted to do something with animation or video games, and the college that I wanted to go to, they didn't really have an animation department, so instead I was doing graphic design there. But then I took a theater class as an elective, and I was like, no, I've always wanted to act, and I never really like thought about it as a job until then. And the teacher of that class was like, you should change your major and be an actor. And I was like, oh.
Really?
Yeah, and then I took a workshop with Tony Oliver. I like went to an anime convention, my very first one that I like ever went to. And
so kind of anime got you into the VO world a little
Yes,
bit?
yeah, because I was at this anime convention and I was super lost because I didn't know anything about anime conventions. And I was just wandering around and I saw an advertisement for a voiceover class for like the weekend after the convention.
Right.
And I was like, that sounds cool. Like, cartoons. I want to do something with cartoons or something like that. That sounds really fun. So, and when I was like 9, I had told my mom I wanted to be a voice actor, but like she was like, that's not a real job. And then I was like, haha, okay. So I forgot about it, I went to the class and Tony Oliver was the teacher. And he also was like, hey, you should consider doing this like for real. And so I was like, oh, that's 2 people saying that I should maybe do acting. So I changed my major the next year. And then I did that. Yeah, I wasn't really enjoying computer science anyway. Like, I have ADHD and it's really hard for me to focus on programming. Like, I can understand it if I really put my mind to it, you know? I was always taking really advanced math classes and I always really liked stuff like that. So in theory, it was a good fit, but then in practice, I just didn't like it.
Well, that's pretty freaking cool. What were the animes that you were watching at the time that got you into going to Anime Con? Like, what were you like big into back then?
I really liked Fruits Basket was my favorite.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fruits Basket.
Fruits Basket was my #1, and I got everybody in my school, well, not everybody in my school, but like I went to an all-girls school, so I got like half of my grade into Fruits Basket, the manga. I had one other friend who was like open to reading mangas, and so we found Fruits Basket, and then we kind of like tricked our lunch table into reading it because we were like, we have a book that you guys should read, but you have to agree to read it like before we bring it. And then so they did, and then they all fell in love with it, and then like our outer group that sat at a different table started reading it, and then other people in class started reading it, and in the hallways there would be girls like, hey, do you have volume 17? Slip it into my backpack. Yeah. And so I was like the manga dealer at my high school.
Dude.
So that was my all-time favorite one. And then I had a like joint birthday party with one of my friends, and then one of the presents that we got was Fruits Basket the anime. And so we watched it, and I remember so distinctly all of us being like, oh, that's not what we imagined they'd sound like. And now I'm like, oh, people say that about me.
Did you ever think when you were watching those, reading the mangas and watching the anime and stuff, that you'd be doing stuff just like that later in life?
No, I had like no idea. Because like, I don't know, I really only thought of acting as a hobby for a really long time. Like a hobby that I really enjoyed. But I don't know, like my dad's a doctor and I really liked science and math. So it always just kind of seemed like I would do something science or mathy.
Sure.
But yeah, the closer I got to adulthood, the more I was like, I don't know, I don't really like learning. I don't want to go to a lot more school.
I really don't want 8 more years of school.
Exactly.
Well, having parents that were in the scientific field and stuff, I mean, was acting a tough thing? Not really break to them in that sense, but like when I moved out here, because my parents are similar in the same type of thing, and there was a disconnect between you have a degree and why don't you have a job immediately? You know what I mean? Like in the science world, it's like you have, a diploma and you have your education, you should be snatched up right away. But like they don't understand that the arts doesn't really work like that. So
yeah. So my mom was a teacher at Lee Strasberg when she was younger, so she understood like dance and arts and stuff. However, she also was like, are you sure you want to be an actor for like real? Like they were both really supportive of artistic things when I was a kid, but then when I was like, I want to change my major, they were like, oh well, are you sure? Because when I said I wanted to like make video games or animation, they were like, well, okay, that's okay. Like that's not exactly what you were thinking about doing before, but okay. And then after I changed to acting, my mom was like, are you sure you don't want to like direct or produce or something maybe where you can get like a constant paycheck? And I was like, no.
Well, look at me now, Mom.
Yeah. So yeah, once I started booking roles and stuff, they were super excited. They were always supportive, but apprehensive, I would also be apprehensive. Acting's hard and risky. So.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, that's great. So what was your first game that you ever worked on?
My first game that I worked on.
Or anime. Your first paid VO gig.
Oh, that's a different answer. Okay.
Oh,
well, my first paid VO gig, I think it was Extra Characters in K-On! And that was like a little anime about a little band. And I was like one of the kids in their class who had like 2 lines or something.
Everyone seems like they're really hardcore. Hey there, how you doing?
How's it going? I was a production assistant at Bang Zoom for a while, but they knew that I wanted to do voiceovers, so they would sometimes give me auditions and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know you worked over at Bang Zoom.
I did, yeah. That's where I met my now husband, because he's in the visual animation department.
I just figured you met like
in the lobby.
Yeah, like bump it, like swap. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Nope, we worked together.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and I was there for like a year and a half, and during that time they would kind of, let me sit in on sessions, and then they'd let me do little roles and stuff. So I think K-On! Was the very first one, and then there was one day when I worked at reception, so I had to like talk to people all the time because I was friendly. So they were like, you can sit here and also do production and be a receptionist, and I was like, okay. But there was one day where I just like didn't want to talk to to people, you know. And so I was like, can I go shred things in one of the booths? Because it's soundproof, so that's where we would like shred things. And they were like, sure, okay. And one of the audio engineers was mixing K-On! And for some reason, you know how there's like a TV in the booth? For some reason that one was on. And I don't know that he knew it was on, but I didn't tell him because I wanted to watch K-On!, you know, so.
Sure.
And then he got to a part where I had a line, and it was such a surreal moment hearing my voice, and I like froze, and then I had a panic attack because I was like, oh my god, that just sounds like me. That I don't sound like I belong in this show. I just sound like me, and everyone else sounds like someone who should be in this show, and I was like so scared.
Really?
Yeah, now I'm like, obviously I sound like myself, but the first time hearing it was so jarring.
Well, that's adorable.
Yeah, and then my first game role was in a game called Battleship, which was based on the movie Battleship.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the
Somebody in
movie
chat knows.
Battleship
Somebody in chat
had
knows.
like Rihanna in it or something. So I played like the Navi character who is in your ear the whole time telling you what to do. Yeah, and she talks a lot, like a ton. I think Luke, my husband, we were dating at this point back then, he looked up a video on YouTube of someone playing it. And the guy was like so annoyed that I kept talking. He was like, God, this bitch just won't shut up. And I remember being like, he's talking about me. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. That was the first game experience for me.
There's a question in chat here. Says, question for Erica. If you were going to channel your inner bard, what piece of music would you choose to perform and why?
I would choose to write my own songs if I was going to be a bard.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
I wouldn't sing existing songs because that's lame.
That's fair. There was also another question in chat. How was it doing? I want to eat your pancreas.
Ooh, I love that movie so much. Oh my gosh. Sometimes people...
What? What
yeah,
is this?
people get weirded out by the title, which I agree. When I got the
Guilty?
audition, I was like, what is this, a zombie movie? But then, no, it's a very sad slice of life movie.
Yes.
It's so good. It's probably one of my favorite
Wait,
movies
it's
I've
called,
done.
what is it called?
I want to eat your pancreas.
Oh, Jesus.
It has a
so
reason.
good.
There's
It
a
does.
reason.
And actually, I can say the reason because you find out something about my character in the first like minute. So
Yeah.
my character has pancreatic disease, and so she's gonna die like soon. And she meets this guy who like doesn't have any friends. He says he doesn't understand friendship. He doesn't want friends just because, I don't know, he doesn't fit in. So he just tells everyone that he doesn't want any friends, even though he does. But she decides that she's gonna become his friend. And until she dies, she makes him promise to be her friend. And so I think you can see where that's going.
It
Okay.
is so sad.
It's so sad and it's so beautiful,
Sounds like
and
a
I
delight.
just, I love it so much.
By the way, Erica, what level are you?
I'm level 13.
You only need to get to 16, buddy. Snap it
know.
up. Do it right now on stream. Let's go.
I'm trying. Technically, this is only my 3rd day playing, so I'm
Oh, wait,
still
invite me again.
learning a bit.
You bringing Clee? Who are you
God.
bringing?
I don't have Glee.
Oh.
I don't spend money anymore.
Get with it, man. Yeah, I've spared some change, dude. I'm doing my taxes right now, and I've horrifyingly spared some change.
Yeah, when I did my taxes, this was the year I had the most 1099s, and
Oh
God,
no, oh
That
no.
was not fun.
Oh, freelance.
Thank goodness I still pay student loans.
Yeah, my husband is annoyed because we're gonna file together and he usually gets money back, but because of all my freelance stuff, he probably won't this time.
Are you incorporated or no?
No, not yet. Everyone keeps telling me to do it, but it seems scary and adult and complicated, so I haven't
Well,
done it.
talk to me about it, bro. I'll help you out.
Okay, help me
Stuff.
be a grown-up. I don't know how.
Yes, well, they're not wrong.
I accidentally jumped really high, and I didn't mean to. Venti. But I needed to fight this golem thingy.
Oh, the ruin guard.
Yeah.
It has the big
Golem
eye.
thingy.
I don't know.
As I was mentioning to you before, you doing the Mimahoya or whatever it was at Hilly Trillian was amazing.
Thank you. Oh my god, I remember when we came up with that. It was your idea, and it was so funny. I'm so glad we did it because people seem to really like it.
It was super fun.
In terms of characters, how was it for Erica to perform her
First of all,
Danganronpa
it's
role?
see-
My Danganronpa roles, they were so fun. So the first Danganronpa role I had was pretty early on in my career. And I remember at the time being like, this is my lowest range. Like, I can't go any lower than this. And now it's like very mid-range for me, that character,
Oh,
Kyoko.
nice.
But I forgot about that. Like, I hadn't played her in a long time when we got to like one of the later games. And so in my brain, you know, I was like, she's my lowest register. But my register had expanded so much that when I heard the reference, I was like, wait, what? That's just like kind of me. Just like slightly lower.
Erica, we gotta get you a couple of constellations on that Venti. We can't just stop at C1, dude.
I know, I was thinking about that. I got constellations for Noelle, I think, because I pulled her a million times.
Sounds about right.
Now that I
Have
know
you
she
played
can
any of
heal.
the Wind Bloom Festival stuff?
No, I can't unlock it until I'm level 20.
There's always
Technically,
next year.
days.
I'm trying
Yeah,
my
3
hardest.
days.
I don't
Actually,
think I'll
I
be
mean,
able to do
if
it.
you put in the time, look at cancel any gigs you got, and put in the time, and I'm sure you'll
Just
get
only play Genshin for the next 2 days.
there. Straight.
I mean, I feel
could.
like that's what we did when it first came out.
Essentially. It's funny because a lot of these actors who come in and play these characters have weirdly relatable qualities between them and the characters that they're doing, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's really strange. I mean, what would you say your relatability between you and Venti is?
I love to sing. I sing all the time. When I found out I was playing a bard, I was so excited, but then I don't sing in the game. I'm so sad about it.
You lay down some pretty good rap for some of those cutscene
Some
things.
sick bars.
That's
yeah.
true. I do some good like spoken word stuff. But yeah, I just like in my day-to-day life sing everything. You know, like have you seen How I Met Your Mother and how Marshall sings everything he does? That's me. I'm him.
Yeah, you do definitely sing a lot.
I know, I do sing a lot. And you've directed me singing before.
I have. There's
And
something
other
we can't talk
things.
about yet.
I know.
But I'm dying to talk about.
Me too! It's been so long! God!
But we can say this. I can say that you and Zach Aguilar are both in it. So
We are! Yes!
It's so
Oh,
good.
I can't wait to talk about it. Does that project have a lot of lines for Zach? Yes. It's surprising. He's sometimes typecast into just the Ugg character.
I know. I recently just helped Zach get a thing, and the first lines were just ellipses. It was great. Yeah, like the first 3 lines were just ellipses and him going, yes. And I immediately went on the microphone and I just said, typecast, bro.
Seriously, he's played a couple voiceless protagonists at this point.
Yeah, it's so funny. Someone asked, what is Erica's Twitch link?
Think you
It
can
is
get away?
with a K Games.
Yes.
With a K Games.
Goes with my Instagram, which is with a K Insta.
I have a question for you, Erica.
Yes.
What kind of anime do you like voicing in? Do you like voicing kind of those really sad slice of life ones? Or are you more towards like those kind of actiony RPG ones?
My favorite characters to play are characters like Venti, who are like kind of brats. Like they're cute and they're fun and they have a lot of energy and they just get to have like fun, silly lines. I like anime where I get to do stuff like that. I also like more serious stuff. My least favorite is probably anywhere I have to like scream a lot, like super combat
that.
heavy.
I
I
get
don't like
that.
that. Don't die, Venti. Okay, there we go.
Ooh, here's a question. If Venti was a type of cake or dessert, what type does Erica think he would be?
Ooh, he would be an apple pie.
Really? Okay.
Because he's wholesome and he loves apples. I can make a really good cheddar apple pie, but he wouldn't like that because he doesn't like cheese.
In New England, where I grew up, basically you just cut off a big old like honkin' slice of cheddar, like sharp cheddar cheese, and you put it on top of a piece of hot pie. It's delicious.
That's so... I never heard of that. I want to try it. It seems interesting. Erica, what was your most challenging role?
One of my most challenging roles was probably Kurapika in Hunter x Hunter because he is a 17-year-old boy. And usually when I play boy characters, they're a lot
Yeah.
younger, you know? So like it's a totally different voice. And I was pretty nervous that people were gonna like not like having a woman playing him, but a woman plays him in Japanese and they wanted him to sound pretty androgynous. And he's like a very intense character. He was super different than any character I'd played before. He became one of my favorite characters because of all that. Again, that was another thing where like I thought he was the lowest point of my register. And now he's, again, I listened to him recently and I was like, that's not even close to the lowest point in my register anymore. It's so weird. He's awesome. I love him. Oh man, if they made more of the anime, he's like the main character in the manga right now. That would be cool, but
What is one unit you want to get in the game? Like, what's a character you really want to play as?
Aside from obviously. the-
yeah, now I'm playing as Venti, so all my dreams came true. But aside from that, I don't know. Barbara's cute. I like her. As I get the characters, I keep being like, oh, I like this one now. So I'll probably change all of my favorites as I get new characters. Oh, I just met the chef girl. What's her name?
Oh,
Xiangling?
Xiangling.
Xiangling, yeah. Oh my god, she's so cute. I really want her.
Erica, what was it like playing, is it Amy or Ami in Toradora?
Ami. Ah,
Ami.
yes, I love Ami. So that was one of my first like big like main, you know, there's like 2 main characters, but then there's 3 like main supporting characters. So she was one of the supporting characters. And so she was one of my first characters of that caliber in an anime. I had heard of Toradora before, and I was really confused when I got the audition because it was like a few years old at that point. And I was like, are they remaking it? Because I know about this, but I guess maybe it didn't have a dub. And they were like, oh yeah, no, it never had a dub. sub, so we're doing it now. So I watched the first few episodes and I was like so in love with it, especially Ami. I really loved Ami. I was like, oh no, I've made a mistake, because you know you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to look up a show and then fall in love with a certain character, because usually like there's so many people going for the same role. That's a bad idea. That's how you get your heart broken. It's again like a pretty dramatic slice of life show, and all the characters are really good and really complex, and Ami has like these multiple sides to her that come out throughout the episodes, and it's really cool. So she's always gonna be one of my absolute favorite characters that I've played.
I actually have a question for both you and Chris.
Here we go.
What was the first project you two worked on together?
I think Fallout 4, right?
Was it Fallout? Yeah, I think it was Fallout 4.
I think
Was
so.
it Fallout 4?
I believe so, just because I remember not knowing who you were.
Well, there you have it.
So, like, we hadn't worked together before, I think, because I was like, I don't recognize you.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, we were working on Fallout 4 years prior to its release. I'm glad one of us.
Yeah, we worked on a ton of stuff, though.
Can we have a classic Venti laugh right here? Not really a question, but Venti's monologue at the end of The Windbloom made me sob hard enough to make my aloof kitten feel sorry enough for me to come and sit in my lap. Venti literally reunited my cat and I. That's by Violet.
Aww.
What would you suggest someone young aspiring to be a voice actor do starting out? Any advice you wish you knew earlier?
I feel like people don't like my advice, because my advice is always take classes, just take acting classes and just like focus on acting. And I feel like people are like, oh, that's not a real answer. But it is a real answer.
No, acting classes might be the most important thing. That and practicing cold reads, because cold reading is such an undervalued skill that people don't really realize. You know, being able to kind of read a line, get through it, and not just get through it, but get through it cleanly and with a performance, like with an actual like something attached to it. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't sound read. It's tricky, man. It takes some practice.
You know what good practice is for me actually is streaming, because when I stream, like when I play Persona, or like it doesn't happen as often in Genshin because we voiced almost everything, but in Persona there's a lot of stuff that like didn't get voiced, and so I'll just like read it all, like all the characters. I've never seen those lines before, you know, so I'm reading them, I'm sight reading them as we go. It's great practice, because that's how sessions are. We never get the scripts beforehand. I think I've gotten the script beforehand just a handful of times. For like original animation, if I'm like a big character, they'll give me the script beforehand usually, but for like dubbing and video games and stuff, no way. We never see anything until we're in the room. Why is there a big barrier that I can't go through?
Where are you?
I don't know. I'm just kind of running around.
Someone asked, is networking just as important as classes?
I definitely don't think it's as important as classes, for sure. Classes are like the #1, and classes are networking. I mean, people are like, how'd you get on the list for all these places? And I'm like, literally a class. Like, that's how I got on the list for like Mattel and stuff like that, is I took a class. I'm horrible at networking, I think, because I don't go out of my way to network, which I know I'm kind of supposed to do, but I just feel kind of awkward networking. I don't know. I get nervous that people are going to think I'm just talking to them because I want something from them. I'm of the opinion that, yes, it's important to make friends and like be a nice person and be someone that people want to work with and be good at taking direction and just like get in front of people.
But classes, I can tell you also, because you know, occasionally I'll teach classes and stuff. And there's a lot of times that like somebody comes in and does some really good stuff, and I put them on a list of like potential people to try out. You know what I mean? When we have like some smaller roles that will get me, you know, get the person in front of me and work with me a little bit. You know what I mean? So I agree.
Exactly. That's like always what I say to everybody, is just take classes, be there, like come ready to learn and ready to make friends, basically.
Agreed.
The reason I'm bad at networking is because I'm always nervous that everyone's gonna think I just want to talk to them, you know, because I want something from them, like I said. So don't do that. Don't just try and like befriend people because you want something from them, because people can sense that, and it's not so good.
How much of the storyline of the things that you record you know beforehand? We tend to know nothing.
Nothing at all.
Coming into the session, they don't know anything. And then if it's a longer quest line and stuff, and this goes for any game, not just Genshin, but anything. But usually the actors don't know anything coming in, and then obviously they'll get some context on their first session about like, you know, here's the basic top-down roadmap of what our session's going to look like today, and you know, this is we're going to be doing this story and this quest, and blah blah blah, and here's the overview of what that means and what you do. And once they get that, they'll, you know, record. From then on, they kind of have a general idea of what's going to be happening, but they literally are seeing the lines for the first time as they read them for the first time. So, which is crazy to me, man. It's insane, the stuff, like people forget a lot of times, because people think, oh, voice acting, you're just talking to a mic, man. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because people forget that like actors, whether they're doing dubs or whether or not they're in video games or whatever, like what we're asking them to do is insanity. Like in film and stuff, people are given scripts, and there's there's this whole thing where they get to kind of do like little pre-production retreats, and they get to like know and meet more of the cast members, and then they can read over stuff with people and bounce different performances off stuff and really kind of prepare and memorize their lines and embody the character. Do all this stuff. They've got props and physical stuff to act off of, and people that they're looking at in their face, and like all this stuff. And for voice actors, they're like hustling in from between like barista sessions, trying to like knock this thing out, never having seen anything before, and we're like, act good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's so fast paced.
So
it's like, yeah, I think that's something that I don't know. I don't ever remember a moment of being like, man, I wish I realized how fast paced it was. But I think people do need to, if they want to be a voice actor, they need to realize how quickly you need to be able to do everything. Read a script, take directions, make choices like in a snap.
Oh yeah, because it's literally like, all right, here we go, A and a B, and you're looking at the line for the first time. You'll read it twice at full speed, just like out loud with a performance layered on top of it, and then usually it's some kind of a director, two different ways to kind of vary it up, and usually a director will be like, great, bring that, but on this line here, we need to see a little bit more of the emotion because you lost your friend, blah, 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 go. And it's like right away, like go right away. Cool, now we're going to go, you're happy because we just won a contest. Great. All right, now you're a villager running from a thing. Like, it's just constant changes all the time, and it's very fast paced.
Yeah, and I mean, I was a theater major, and so theater by comparison is like so slow. Like the rehearsal process, is like weeks long, and they're like, really think about what your character would have for breakfast and how they felt about that. It's just so different, but it's still good training. So when I say take classes,
any training is good training, but I would focus more, as Erica was saying, on the acting classes and not necessarily VO 101 type stuff quite yet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, don't just take voiceover classes because that's not all you need.
I've watched some of my favorite Chinese VO directors work behind the scenes. There was a moment where the actor came in with a bag of lollipops as a prop. Have you ever had somebody read with a bag of lollipops or a granola bar? No, I had, when I was working on some Bethesda stuff, I had somebody come in who was a fan of the franchise, come in like full like body armor with like a fake, like prop rifle, you know what I mean? And just to kind of hold and like kind of feel like they were in the moment and stuff, which is really cool. To some extent, yeah. We did some stuff even just recently on another project I was working on where somebody had to be eating ramen while working, and we actually had them like get stuff to like slurp and eat and do as they do.
Oh yeah, I've had to like drink, this is for like a live action dub, and I had to like drink water to make it sound real, like I was really slurping the water. Usually for eating, I figured out a way to just like squish a cheek, so it sounds like I'm eating something in my mouth.
Well, give me a little preview.
Oh, this is so good. Oh my god, I love this.
We need some chews and some snacks though.
I know, all right.
Oh, Laura Stahl says, Chris.
Laura!
What's up?
Hey, Laura, come in here and join us.
What the? I have a little fairy with me.
Yeah, that's called Paimon.
No! Oh, it went away now.
Erica, when you voice a character like Violet, how do you fall into the role?
Violet is a very like complex and sad character. So I like to like be joking around on breaks in sessions usually, but for Violet, usually I on breaks will not do that because I want to kind of stay in like a more somber headspace. I don't know. I just kind of like, I imagine being in her situation myself, and it makes me sad.
Oh, hi, Laura.
Laura!
Laura!
Oh, you're soft. You're soft.
Oh, sorry. I was turned down because I was screaming earlier.
Fair enough.
It happens.
What's up, dude? So, just so you know, I did the Barbara hangout quest, and I hit on Barbara within the first 2 minutes of the quest and failed immediately. The fastest rejection of my life, dude.
Oh, no!
World record.
You knew that was coming. You directed me through it.
I forgot.
Do you believe posture and body language can help with voice acting?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I like,
Seconded.
I stand different for like every character.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
How do you stand, and what do you do when you voice act as Venti?
I'm very aloof as Venti, because he's usually, things are like he has serious moments, of course, but usually he's pretty like, wherever the wind blows, that's where my journey takes me. I'm pretty just like relaxed in my posture for him. I think if he was ever doing his kind of like sadder stuff, I kind of would tense up a bit when I'm voicing him.
People think you should just like stand in front of a mic and do your thing, and it's not that. I mean, when you're doing efforts, people are coming out sweating, you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're,
oh my god.
and so much stuff. Like sometimes the direction
Lauren,
will
I
be
know.
like if we're doing like I don't know, a battle thing, and there's like a military scene or a commander or something like that, and I need them to be or sound or embody somebody more badass. I'll just be like, you're holding a bigger gun. You take your combat boots off. You know what I mean? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like there's a sense of physicality that comes with it, and it's everything from like literally from your head to your feet. There's a bunch of different tricks and stuff that you can use, but it makes a huge difference.
I feel like a lot of my speech and debate training from high school was super beneficial for voiceover, because for people who don't know what it is, it's like competitive speaking. And so we would take a script of like a play or a movie or even a book and condense it down to 10 minutes. And then we would have to play every character in that whole script ourselves. There was like
What?
That's
one
awesome.
category where we were allowed to have a partner, but then the two of us have to play every single character. And so we had to both change the character's voice and physicality to make it distinct.
Oh, that's
and we
cool.
had to be able to switch in the snap of a finger. I think that was so helpful for voiceover because I use that technique all the time, constantly.
That sounds fun.
It was really fun.
So I don't want to put you on the spot for this one,
Uh-oh.
but people are asking for you to sing something. It doesn't have to be in Venti voice, but it
Okay.
could be something. It could be a little ditty if you want.
Could I just sing the
Well-
sea shanty?
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
There once was a ship that took to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy of Tea. The winds blew up, her bow went down. Oh, blow, my bully boys, blow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Heh! Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
love that. That
That
song is
was
so hard to
amazing,
sing
dude.
a cappella. That's
Thank
like in a
you.
Mixolydian mode. Fuck, that's hard.
Thanks.
I don't know it.
I didn't warm up, so thank you.
That was beautiful. I was
I
Dude,
love
that
it.
was amazing.
You couldn't
dude.
see me, but I was
Thank
dancing
you.
right along.
Yay!
Dude, by the way, I would just say that like I would spend good money on a full album of you singing sea shanties. if you want.
Really?
That's all I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
That's all I'm saying.
I really like singing, and I always just really want to sing things in any project that I'm in, and a lot of projects don't let me sing.
Rude, right?
If Venti actually existed, Erica, would you be best friends with him? Where would you go if you spent a day together?
We would be best friends forever. Okay, he would probably want to go to a bar, but I don't really drink. I do like cider,
Venti a
and
drinker?
he likes cider.
Venti's a drinker?
He's a
Hardcore.
drunk. Yeah, he's like a drunk.
It's a problem.
So I think he seems like he likes to go to like pretty places, like a cliffside or a beach, and I love that. So I would want to go on like a hike with him. And I feel like he'd be kind of
Aw.
insufferable, being like, "Come on, it's easy, keep going," and I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." But I think we'd have fun. He's really one of my favorite characters I've played. I really, really like him.
In June's story quest, he literally drank 37 cups of alcohol.
My
You?
dog's barking. I'm sorry. Gus is very
It's all
upset.
good. My dog
Never
was barking
apologize
earlier,
for
too.
whispering.
Gus, I'm sorry. I can't play with you. I'm playing this game.
I don't get stage fright, but I sometimes get voice acting anxiety. Any advice?
Okay, so I don't really get stage fright, and I get nervous after I'm on stage. And also, like, after I leave a session, sometimes I'll get really nervous. Something that Tony Oliver once told me to do for, like, conventions, because I do get nervous on, like, panels. If
Really?
I'm, like, talking as myself. Yeah, if I'm, like, playing a character, I'm totally usually not nervous at all. Unless I get in a session and they're like, "Okay, can you do this accent that you've never done before on the spot, please?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, I'm so nervous." But usually for characters, I'm not nervous at all. But I get nervous being myself. So Tony was like, "You should make that a character too." So I'm myself at a convention, but I'm like a more confident version of myself. And if I think of it like that, I get a lot less freaked out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a performance, you know. I felt
I
like that
like
was
it.
very helpful advice.
I love Tony. I call him my LA dad. He's met my actual father. Like, they're friends. They're like
Get outta here.
co-parenting. Yeah.
Go
Legit.
there.
I don't know how I've compartmentalized it, but I will save that stage fright for before and after I have
Oh, you get
to
nervous
sing.
after too. Oh, okay. So I'm not
Yeah.
just a crazy person. I I think that's totally what happens. I forget to be nervous. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe
Yeah,
it.
I've had teachers tell me, and I don't know how much this works for everybody, but they'll say, like, take that nervous energy that you've got and channel it and place it somewhere else, or think of that nervousness and don't call it nerves, call it excitement. Number one, if you book a job, remember that the people want you to be, they're there on your team. Nobody's hoping that you walk into the session or start your session and are bad so that they have to fire and replace you.
Yes.
You've already gotten the job, you're supposed to be there. Everybody who's on the line listening to you, they're all on your side and they want to make this as good as they possibly can with you. Everybody's on your team together and we're all working together. So you don't have to be afraid. You're already there, you already got the gig. You're okay.
That's the thing I want to redirect to Chris. Hey, Chris, so like,
Yo.
when you work with like actors, especially like newer ones, me during my first Genshin session, when you're working with someone that you can tell is nervous, what do you do to kind of help diffuse that?
There's a couple of things where, I find that, look, for me, it's setting the tone out of the gate. If people come in nervous, this is just a general kind of rule of thumb that I use for pretty much every session, which is don't dive straight into stuff. Like, chit chat a little bit, say hi, like make some jokes, relax a little bit, you know what I mean? Just kind of get people comfortable and being in there. A lot of people, like, sometimes they're like rushing to get to the session and they're stressed out and worried about X, Y, and Z and all this other kind of stuff to even get there. So when they come in, they're already a little flustered. So just if you're calm and you're not like freaking out about pace and you're just having a good time and you're just joking and chatting about what they're up to in life and blah, 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 it helps kind of just take any stress about like we got to race through this stuff, or what if we don't get and it just makes people, I think, a little more at ease. I don't like giving too many or too much direction for the first, 2 pages of material or so, where like when we get into the booth, I just want to go. And even if in my head I'm like, we're not quite there yet, but I find that if you kind of overanalyze one line out of the gate and you throw a lot of stuff at them and stuff, like then it just like you don't really build a rhythm, you don't really build some momentum, and all that stuff goes a long way in building an actor's kind of just like comfortability and confidence and stuff in the booth. So it's easy at the end of everything to go, hey, let's listen. Now that we worked into a good pocket, let's cycle back, let's listen back to the first couple lines, let's make sure we're in the good pocket since this was the first day of working on this character or whatever. If we have to redo like 20 lines, then we redo 20 lines, you know what I mean? At that point they're like happy and relaxed and they've been rocking through and it's been great. But I feel like if you get in there and you just kind of hyper analyze one performance on one line and just it's going slow and slogging through, then you get all these kind of questions as an actor in your head, like, I did 6 takes that time, is that good, is that bad? And that's not what you want in somebody's head right at. Once you get a momentum going and they feel comfortable with the character and they're in that skin, it's easy then to just like maybe throw a little more direction here or there, dial it in. And you notice the performance too. Like I can always tell right when they get into that comfortable zone, because you can feel any kind of tensions melt away and stuff, and it just gets a lot more fun and a lot more comfortable. So
That's why you're one of my favorite directors.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of non-related work questions, do you guys have favorite birds?
Favorite birds?
I like Eddie and Cora's bird.
Oh, Zulu?
In particular.
I love Zulu.
If I gotta pick a bird, it's that one.
Well, okay, I rescued a raven when I was a kid.
Oh, raven.
So I really like ravens. Yeah, we
Oh my
rescued
gosh,
this
you're
baby
magic.
raven. I know, it was so cool.
I-
It fell out of its nest. I think its mother like pushed it out of its nest because it was time to fly, but this baby raven was like, no thank you, and just landed on our porch. And so we like left it out there for a while, kind of watching it and be like, oh, what's gonna happen? But it was hurt, it was injured. Eventually we were like, okay, we have to bring it inside and like help. So we looked up all this stuff about how to take care of a baby raven. We fed it dog food through an eyedropper and kind of like nursed it back to health. And it's so funny, it's like Raven family would peck on our windows every morning to be like, hey, is he still okay? After he was healed, we would put him outside in like an open box basically. So we would be like, okay, when you're ready to fly, go ahead. And there was one time where he almost tried to fly, but then he couldn't do it, and then he got scared and hid in a bush and cried until we came and got him. We named him Flip Flop because he was like flipping and flopping around on the porch.
That's adorable.
Eventually he flew away, and then after he flew away, he came back later that day to like visit, basically say thank you, it seemed like. And he was just like playing around, and my parents took me out of school because they were like, oh my god, Flip Flop's back. And we played, and we played with him that day, and then he left, and then we didn't see him again after that. But we did always hear ravens around whenever we would go outside, kind of like calling to us. And so we were like, oh, they're like looking after us now. It was really cool.
I love it.
I didn't really get in trouble, so I didn't think I did anything, but I was like, why? What's going on? But yeah, it was so cool. So, with ravens, they have big sharp talons. Before he could fly, he would like hop up onto our arm, but we had to get like a big glove so that he didn't destroy our arm with his talons. He was so cool. It was a really cool experience. And I was so glad that we nursed him back to health, and then he rejoined his little raven family. But it was, my sister is terrified of birds. And the fact that the birds would tap on the windows every day.
Got
She
it.
was like on board with saving the raven, and she was like, we should do something. But then after we had it in our house, she was like, I can't sleep. There's ravens at our windows. I feel like I'm gonna die.
I have a couple I like. I like blue jays because they're gorgeous. I like hummingbirds because they're just
I love
amazingly
hummingbirds. Yeah.
zippy and all that fun stuff. I like woodpeckers because I grew up watching Woody the Woodpecker, and also there's just something about a woodpecker hammering away at a tree that speaks of like the Northwest to me.
I
But
used to
think-
work at Universal Studios as a friend of Woody Woodpecker.
No
Oh.
way. All right,
That's
all right.
funny.
Also, I have to tell everyone this is the most important thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Because as we were talking about your raven, I remembered that like the name of a group of crows is a murder, but I
Yes.
didn't know the group of ravens, so I
Uh-huh.
looked it up just now, and it's called an unkindness.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Unkindness.
Yeah, but I will tell you, they're very
Yes.
kind. And they remember you. They remember you for life. So like I felt very like protected when we would go outside and they'd all be like, oh, hello. Did you know crows can learn to talk?
Creepy as hell. If you've ever heard one, it's really unsettling.
Yeah, it sounds like a human. It's really weird.
Someone said Erica is like a Disney princess.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Like a really badass one though, because like
A raven? Yeah, not just like a blue jay.
Hey, hey.
Blue Jays are great. Blue Jays are
First of all,
great.
I would pay so much money to see Chris in a Disney princess type scenario, but it's a Disney prince and he just has blue jays with him.
Yeah.
What is the first thing you want to do out of quarantine?
Hug.
When it's
I want to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I've forgotten how to be a person. I had to like take my dog to the vet, and you know they won't even let you go in to the vet anymore, which I understand. I don't want to, you know, be inside somewhere, so I'm like, okay,
Right,
cool,
of course.
take my dog. But just talking to like the vet tech who came out to get him, I was so awkward. I was like, I don't know how to speak to people anymore.
Right.
And she was like, oh, is he a Cavalier King Charles? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, my aunt or something has one. And I was like, haha. I realized I was supposed to say like something else, but I
Right.
I just couldn't figure it out.
Blank right out.
Do you have Barbara or Xinyan yet?
Me? No.
It's okay. I still
Goodbye.
love
I'm
I'll-
sorry.
you. Chris, you don't level up Xinyan?
I don't have enough resources.
I am shocked and
Hey,
appalled.
hey, the day that you get and play Xinyan is the day I'll level her all the way up to 90. How's that?
Oh!
That's a
Let me
promise, dude. That's a promise.
Actually, here's the question, because I live like 15 minutes from Disney, and I used to go like every year to perform in band and like just go just cause. What is your guys' favorite thing to do at Disney?
How do I choose? My favorite ride is Space Mountain. It's my favorite of all time.
Do you have a chiropractor on standby for when you get off? Or?
No, I'm young and cool.
I forgot. I'm just an old man.
My husband loves Pirates of the Caribbean, but I mean, one of my favorite things to do is just walk around. Like, I just really like the atmosphere of Disney. And I used to go every year on my birthday and hug Goofy,
Aw.
because Goofy's my favorite character.
Goofy movie's the best movie ever. It
It
changed my
is.
mind.
Yes, Bill Farmer helped me make my demo, my animation demo. So it was like the best moment of my life. But yeah, so I used to kind of just go and walk around. And on the day that I got engaged, Luke surprised me with a Disneyland day after he proposed. He was like, "By the way, we're going to Disneyland now," and I booked, dinner at Carthay Circle, and we have tickets to the parade.
Ooh,
and it was really
Carthay.
cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Blue Bayou probably would have been better. But anyways, who knows?
Well,
Oh,
okay.
man.
I don't like spicy things, and a lot of the Blue Bayou stuff is like, it's too spicy for me. I'm building up my spice tolerance though, because Luke is Sri Lankan, and his mom said I can't go to Sri Lanka until I can tolerate their food. So she was like, you have to eat everything that they give you, and I was like, okay. Another thing I love to do is I love to watch like the fireworks or World of Color, and people often don't want to do that with me. Because they want to like
What?
go on rides the whole time, and I'm like, but I've been on the rides. The reason I like Disney's fireworks is because they have so much like music that goes with it, so it's like you don't hear
Helpful.
the pops as much. I feel like it's gonna be such a huge event when it opens, but I don't feel confident enough going when it first opens.
No, me
Right.
neither.
Even though I'm gonna be vaccinated by then, I mean, it's not 100% effective,
I also know that there's going to be clash of people where you're going to have those who are like, it's just a mask. Who cares? Like, even if we're
Yeah.
vaccinated, like, let's just wear a mask.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have people that are going to be like, no, freedom, done forever, I'm out. And then, like, you're going to have fighting between those people shouting, like, it's just going to be a thing, man.
Due to like making things accessible for folks with disabilities, and it's the same thing as like needing a ramp. Did you see that they're advertising like the weird like monstrosity corn dog that they're advertising?
Yeah, I
What?
saw that.
Wait, what is
Like
this?
this new corn dog, I guess that they're advertising. There's a corn dog. There's a hot dog that's been placed in a pickle.
Ew.
That
Ew.
was then battered and deep fried, and it's served with like a side of peanut butter.
Yep.
And it sounds like a pregnant woman's dream. I don't understand.
Oh yeah, did you guys ever do
626?
the food festivals at Disney?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
like those.
Those are also really cool.
Also, it's 10 o'clock. Didn't want to.
10 o'clock. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
why do
get
you
to
say it
16,
weird?
I think. I'm still in the middle of 15.
know.
I've been doing this challenge to get like 100, points every time I win.
It's pretty
Slow
impressive
going.
that you got as far as you did in one night, though.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're
almost there.
I am very impressed with myself.
A little break from directing, so I might have maybe.
Chris, we need to talk about this. We need an intervention for this. When you see a barrel, do not blow me up.
In the game, there are these explosive barrels, and I'm like, when we first started playing, Christian was like, "Chris, go stand over there by that barrel," and I was like, "No, dude, I know what you're gonna do. You're trying to blow me up," and I called him out on it. And then now, ever since then, when he runs near a barrel, I shoot it with a like that, and he gets like wrecked. Sometimes he dies, and it's pretty funny.
Also, you know what I just realized right now? You can switch out Lumine. I thought it was one of those games where like the main character can't be switched out.
Yeah.
It turns out that you can, and my life has changed. But I love Lumine as a character, so I'm torn.
Yo, what up, Tommy?
Oh,
Sneaking in at the
Hello.
last minute.
Hello,
I don't know if you
hello.
guys met Tommy. This is Tommy. Tommy, this is Erica and Laura.
Hi, nice to meet
Hello.
you. I
Thanks,
also,
Venti.
I think my husband has to start uploading an animation project at some point,
Oh,
so
no.
I should go before he kills my stream and my communication with you guys.
True. Well, look, guys, Erica and Laura, thank you guys so much for coming in and chatting. It's always a pleasure, and I love
Yes.
talking with you guys.
I always love talking to you, working with you. This is so fun. I'm so close to being able to play with you.
Well, look, listen. You're in the server here, just like Laura, and you can pop in literally anytime.
Every time I come in, you're like, yeah, you can be here anytime. And then I hang up, and then I'm like, I should never go in there. I feel like I'm intruding.
Doesn't
No.
it feel like we're just hanging out like buddies, though? Come on.
I'm trying to figure my life out. It's hard.
That's how I was at the end of last year, and then I got super burnt out. And so at the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, I need to like chill. This year, I have a different plan, and so I'm feeling much better now. I feel like I'm doing really
Yes.
cool projects, but I'm not doing so many that I'm dying.
But thank you, guys. Let's wrap it up here. And Laura, you don't stream, right?
Not yet,
You
but
should, it's
maybe
fun.
someday. I feel like if I'm gonna play Genshin, I have to play it like on stream. Like there's no point unless I'm hanging out with everybody.
Right?
Yeah, dude. But once you do, let us know, and people are gonna flock
Oh,
to the
yeah.
channel.
This lake is called Cider Lake. It's Venti's favorite
yeah.
lake. Oh my god. I streamed so much Genshin today. I did like a lot of story earlier. I pulled Venti earlier, and now I've leveled up. I've leveled up a good amount, so now I'm feeling more like maybe I can get to the Windbloom Festival by Friday.
Dude, I think you might be. Honestly, I think you
I
can.
feel like I can.
Uh,
Doing those challenges, I've realized, is a good way to get some points. So
Let's raid Veronica TV. VERONICA
How
So
many people-
Veronica V TV.
We just won. This
Yeah.
is gonna be amazing.
Veronica V TV.
like V as in Veronica again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Erica's gonna do the same, and we're gonna blow it up. They got one person.
Yep, I'm sending my people over there
That's
too.
gonna be so fun.
Oh,
Oh
it's
my
gonna be
god.
great.
Text me when you do.
Okay.
And same. And Laura,
Once I get
we
to
should
16,
Laura.
I'll be like, Chris.
Chris, I don't know if I have your number. I'm gonna give it to you on like a DM on Twitter.
Yes.
Oh, you're
yes,
not
yes,
gonna
yes,
say it
please.
out loud during the stream?
Wait, hold on,
Interesting.
hold on. I think I actually might have yours. I don't know.
You have
Do
my
I?
number?
I don't know. Let me
You do
find out.
text
Hold
All right, are we
Yeah,
are we
yeah.
sending our raiders?
I
on.
think-
Yeah, I just sent them.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sending
you
mine.
sent-
Dude, she's freaking out.
Oh, she